This here is issue number 3 of the Power Rangers comic by Boom Studios. Last time we saw a bunch of new bad guys in the form of the Horrid. They're basically space vampires, and we see a bit of their backstory here. They started off as ordinary beings, trying to make science work for them, and ended up destroying themselves. They didn't die, but ended up trapped between realities, neither living nor dead. So they really are like vampires, and they learned that by absorbing the life of others, they can use it to become corporeal again. That's the Horrid in a nutshell. So Drakon is now working for them because he's weak and no match against them. Drakon helps the Horrid to locate the Omega Rangers. Last time, Trini blasted herself outside into space and was making her way back to the ship. C lets her back in, and she's reunited with Zack and Jason and the resident beast Yale. C tells the Rangers that the Horrid are multiphasic entities that latched onto their ship when they passed through the system. C works out that the Horrid are drawn to energy, so they need to provide them with a power source more appetizing than themselves. So C formulates a plan. The Rangers get to an airlock while Yale stays behind them to watch the Rangers' backs. Then the airlock opens and the Rangers go out into space to take on the Horrid Trini ejected previously. Now they've multiplied, but the Rangers are ready as they've practiced zero-G combat before. Zack helps to propel Jason far away, giving Jason the time and space to summon the Omega Fire Zord. The Horrid is surprised to see it, and Drakon tells the leader to send everything he has towards it. The Horrid do just that and begin swarming towards the Zord. Jason says it's like the Anointed all over again, but Jason has learned new things since then, including the use of the Omega Fire Field. That keeps Jason's Zord in a protective bubble so the Horrid can't reach him to feed off the Zord's energy. There are still many of the Horrid fighting Zack and Trini though. They remain on top of the spectrum battling it out. C and Yale on the other hand reach the leader of the Horrid and Drakon. C tells the leader to surrender or he'll unleash Yale. As the leader of the Horrid begins to talk back, Drakon picks up a bar and stabs the leader in the back. So Drakon double-crossed the Horrid and the leader basically dies. His death causes the others to go crazy and their attack on Jason's Zord comes to a halt, as does Zack and Trini's. Drakon says it was good that C got his message. He claims he played along as a servant to the Horrid so he could help the Omega Rangers. Jason, Zack and Trini return to the ship and collect the remaining batteries to jumpstart the Spectrum 2's engines. They get going and leave the Horrid behind. Jason says he's nervous venturing this far out in space. C says he and the others were all here before. Jason's a bit confused because of all the different timelines, dimensions and realities they've experienced in the past. It makes me wonder where the Omega Rangers will actually end up. Drakon is being taken back to his cell by Trini. She tells him that she thinks Drakon played both sides and picked the one that happened to come out ahead. In other words, she thought Drakon would have picked to help the Horrid if they were winning the battle. She'd only believe Drakon if he chose to sacrifice himself for the greater good. And the issue ends with Drakon saying she wouldn't want to know what goes on in his head. And we see an image of the Rangers horrified as they see Angel Grove, the Dragon Zord and Tiger Zord destroyed. So what does this mean? Is this the sort of stuff that goes on in Drakon's mind, or is this another reality in which Angel Grove is destroyed? It's not that clear, but it's likely to be the former because Drakon is mental. I would say this issue was good for the action and picked up well from the previous issue. The Horrid didn't last very long, but it might not be the last time we see them, as the Rangers just ran away basically. I'm looking forward to the next issue to see where the Rangers will end up and see if we can get more of an answer to what we saw on the final page with Angel Grove in ruins.